And my name is Sami Soimio. I work here at Tietoevry as a lead solution consultant and specializing in HCM core and also especially on learning. And just some house rule webinar practicalities. So please post your questions to the chat. Let's see if we have time. We try to have some time to answer some of the questions, but then the rest of them will be answered after the event with the email, and there will be a session recording available later on. All right, and just briefly the safe harbor statement. As always in these kind of workday events, this presentation contains forward-looking statements which are subject to possible changes, so please note that. And here just a brief reminder of the release key dates. So we're talking of 2022 release 1. So the what's new content, the first ones were available there on the Workday community. These on January 28th. So they are available there, more information in the Workday community of these ones. So we are not able to go through all the content, all the items today, and of course we don't have time to go in all the details here. So please have a look also in the Workday community. These what's new posts are really useful there. And the release dates are so these features should exist in your preview tenants already since the February 5th, and production date will be March the 12th. All right, and here just a reminder for you, this is Workday has also requested us consultant to remind you all that the learner experience, the new learner experience, home and discovery will be now mandatory on March the 12th. So the opt-in period is ending. So if you haven't yet had time to check it, please start checking it now in your preview tenant. What's the new learner experience, how it looks like. In other cases, if you don't do anything, then the default view will be used starting on the March 13. And in the default view, you know, there might be some sliders or spotlight cards maybe that you wish not to display for your learners. So please check what it looks like, just to ensure the smooth transitions. All right, that was just a reminder of that. So here, really what's the new features of this release 1 2022. So the new features, what we're going to go through today. So learner experience announcements. So announcements are coming back to learning homepage. So that's the first item we'll have a look. Then we have a look at the custom learning sliders. Then a couple of extended enterprise learner related features. We will have a look at those. So request extended enterprise learner and transcript transition for extended enterprise learners. So those really regarding the extended enterprise. Then some other features, there is some translation updates, and then there is Cloud Connect related stuff. Those Cloud Connect are a bit more integration related, but we just have an overview highlight here also on the learning area, so that you are aware of them, and you might want to check them with your integration team also. And then as a final step, we have a brief look at the roadmap for the future roadmap for learning. All right, learner experience announcements. So now Workday continues to enhance the learner experience by improving announcement functionality. So let's say the announcements are back to the learning homepage. So I guess many of you are familiar already with the announcements. And now these can be also displayed on the learning homepage. The task to use is configure announcement tasks, which is probably familiar to you, many of you. And please note that Workday also displays any previously configured announcements. So if you had some previously configured learning related announcement that has not been displayed on the new learning homepage, so the learner experience, those will be, you can reuse those one considering if they are active in your system. And a note here that you can display a maximum of 5 announcements for each learner at one time. Yep. And let's have a look then. So the configuration, so there is the create announcements, configure announcement task to be used here. And note also here there is some rules and expiry dates and other functionalities behind there. And there is just a simple example of there of couple of announcements on the learning homepage. So there you can attach pictures here. Have a look in the What's New post. There is some limitation to the pictures what you can use, so there won't be surprises there. And a use case, business use case for this would be, for example, that the learning team, a typical one is the learning team wants to communicate something to the learners that, for example, let's say there is some change to the process, how things are approved or some other major changes in the processes or otherwise in the learning area. So this is a good way to communicate to your learner audience. And also you can use then the rules that if you want to only target, for example, managers, that is also possible. Let's jump to the demo. Right. So here we are on the, let's go to the, oops, of course I've been signed out, too much time there. So let's log in again. So I'm logging in as a Logan to our Tieto GMS tenant. So GMS tenant probably familiar to you. So this imaginary company where learning Logan is the learning admin. She is the admin of everything in this environment. So and the task to be used is then configure announcements. And now since we're interested in learning, so we want to do it on the learning dashboard, not on the other areas. We are not interested in that one. So you see there is also other where you can use it, but now we want to do it on the learning homepage, so the new learner experience, the learner experience. So you see there is already a one announcement configured here. So you can here is the rule, for example, if you would like to target only the managers, you can select here the rules. Let's see what we have configured here. So you see we have already these rules configured here as well. You could use those ones. You can use an expiry date. So the announcement would be expired, displayed until the expiration date. So for example, you might want to display something until the, for example, end of the month, if you want to highlight, for example, that there is some deadline for enrollment, so something like that. You can use that one, and you can use who the message is from, and you can also upload an image there. Makes it always more interesting. And as you see, this announcement has been about notifying the learners that they can find their transcript, their own learning transcript in this under my transcript task. So we have added the task here. So the business case would be that there would be a lot of questions from learners that actually where can I see which learnings have I completed. So the learning team has wished to highlight this, and let's go and see how it looks here on the homepage. So here we are. We go to the learning homepage. So besides being an admin, Logan is definitely also a learner in the system. You see it here because she's an admin. She has also here in the new learner experience, she has a link to the admin functionalities also. But this time we're interested now in to be on the learner role and have a look at this announcement. So here you see the announcement. So who is it from? So actually now this is from the IT help desk. They have requested this to be highlighted, that where is the learning transcript, and here you see the picture, and if I open this and there clicking that, I should go to my Logan's learning transcript. So here we see what she has completed during her learning careers. So quite simple to do that. All right, let's close that one. So here, so summary. So what is changing? So the learning homepage. So you can display the announcement there. So quite simple, simply said there. And you need to then create the announcement. And also please check that if you have old existing learning related announcements from the old learning homepage time. And what happens if you do nothing? Then the learners won't see the announcements. But reminding here again that please check if old announcements exists. Did we, Malay, have any questions regarding the announcements?
Let me check, Sami.
Yeah.
I think we have one question.
Mm-hmm.
So about announcements, will these be visible on the learning home view and not in other views?
Yeah. Now these ones are visible on the definitely, and on the new learner experience homepage, which will be then the default view, mandatory view for everybody. So as you saw when I was doing the configuration, I was selecting that I want to display them on the learning homepage. So that's that. Thanks, a good question.
Thank you,
Then,
Sami.
yep, no problem. Then let's jump to the next one. Clock is ticking. So custom learning sliders is the next one. Here, by the way, you see in this presentation, there's always a link to the Workday community, the what's new post there. So those are very useful. So you find more information on there as well. Okay. So Workday continues to enhance the learner experience by enabling to create custom learning sliders that you can add. And you can add them to the learning home, my learning, and discover pages. So these ones you can find in the learner experience, on the learner experience. So these are the pages that you can find there. So you can now configure your own sliders there. And these are using saved searches and custom reports. And here you can then provide your learners with a more personalized learning contents, for example, courses or lessons. Here you see, for examples, they wanted to highlight business skills courses. So the topic has been used here is the business skills courses. They wanted to highlight those ones. So a slider as any of the other sliders where you see then the courses that goes to this slider. Configuration. So you need to create the custom report, and this is supporting now these data types now: learning assignment, learning content, learning enrollment, or learning records. So you can't use on these custom sliders, you can't use all the items yet. So these are now at this point are supported these. And a simple way to test is to use the browse learning content report, so you can test. I will show you a demo then just shortly. And then first you create the custom report and access the custom report and make a save search. So you need to have a saved search also to be able to bring this use these custom sliders, because the custom sliders are created utilizing the save search option. And then you create the slider, and then as a final step you need to maintain it in the add the slider that you have, a custom slider that you have created, you have to add it to the maintain learner experience tasks. Right, let's jump into a demo environment. Okay, good, we're still active here as a Logan, right? So And I show you to speed up with the time. I've created already a report here. Let me show you. So browse learning content. So I've taken the normal browse learning content report and created a copy of it. And the changes made in the report, I show you. We have, so now the case is that we would like to highlight the Skillsoft related courses, just to, you know, what I'm doing here. So let's say the learning team have got a new content provider, which is the Skillsoft, and they want to highlight that, okay, we have now new content from this Skillsoft provider. So here, so using the browse learning content as a base, we made a copy and we add it in the content provider. We have a filter that we are only now selecting the Skillsoft related courses. So a simple filter, adding a filter there. All right, and then let's go back to the report. And then we are now interested only on digital courses. We want to highlight the digital courses. Now there is no other way, other type of courses available, but imagine if there would be, for example, blended courses that Digital Skillsoft would be providing. So then this would be then useful. So, and I have already actually saved a search here. Well, I have saved a search with using the new browse learning content, which filters that we are only interested in Skillsoft. And then we need to have a saved search also to be able to use the of these custom sliders. So that's why we're interested in digital courses. So we want to highlight those ones. So that is done. Here is as you see, I have already made a saved search. Now what I need to do next is I show you the custom slider. I show you this custom slider. So you see, I show you and what we have created. So there's Skillsoft content. And now we want to actually change this so that we are actually interested in the one that is digital. So here the name is Skillsoft content, and we want to actually use now the Skillsoft where we have selected also the digital content. So I've saved that one. So now very simply, now I've created the custom slider. And now the last thing I need to do is add it to the maintain learner experience. Use that task to add it to the learner homepage. And maintain learner experience. So this is a task that you will use if you want to modify the new learning homepage. Most of you should be familiar already with this, but if you still are using the old learning homepage, please have a look at that. And there's also more information of this on the community. This has already been released on the I think it was a year ago in the release, 2021 release, first release, what this the new learner experience has been released. So you can have a look at those ones if you want to have more information how to use this one. But here it's quite simple. I'm using the customized configuration, and I would like to now add this custom slider that I've just created. So the custom sliders, you see, they have added here also on the configuration option is the new custom sliders. And here I can see the one that I've created, the Skillsoft content, and press OK. So now it should be on the new learner experience learning homepage as a first slider there. Let's go and double check that one. Hopefully everything is good. Then we have here on the learning. So I'm going to, and here opens the new learner experience, the new homepage. And you see here, I see the custom slider that I have created. So here it is. So quite simple task. Let's check what I have in the slides. So again, additional considerations. So it's similar to as other sliders, just what they are wanting to, that's what they are saying there. And then again, remember it's using a saved search. There you have to use a saved search. And of course the learner must have access to see the data that you wanna display in this slider. And the data sources that are supported now, those are also listed here. And I would say that again, the typical use case, if you want to promote, for example, some new content, that you have a new content provider or upcoming trainings, or maybe non-required trainings. It's another way now to promote content. If you think there is already highlight functionality also on the learner experience, but this is like an additional method that Workday has provided now. And briefly here, what is changing? So there is the new tasks. You need to do some security settings. And of course, here you need to then create the custom sliders to be able to use them. And here is again, reminder what you need to do. And if you do nothing, then of course, these custom sliders are not visible. And if you don't do the security settings, you won't even have access to the tasks to text those ones. All right, clock is ticking, so let's go. Briefly, we have then the couple of extended enterprise learning related tasks. So just briefly, what is extended enterprise? That might be a bit new for some of you. Not all customers are using this extended enterprise. So extended enterprise is a way to opening up your learning content, for example, to your partners. And these partner users will be a specific user group. They will be these called extended enterprise learners. And in the Workday, they would have access to only the learning content. So the idea is that they don't use the Workday to anything else except just to consume some learning content. Maybe, for example, you have some legal requirement trainings that you wish your partners and subcontractors would do. Then you can. This is a way to do. It's a separate SKU, so a separate license needed for that. So not all of you might be familiar with this, but just it's quite important these here for the guys who are using these. So the first one here is request extended enterprise learner. So idea is that the affiliation managers can now request that they want to add a new learner for their affiliation. So affiliation being an organization that the manager is controlling. So very typically that would be your partner would be an own affiliation, and there would be from the partner side there would be an affiliation manager also who is taking care of all the routine tasks on the Workday learning. So that is taking the pressure off from your own learning administrator. And this is a new way to also take away the pressure of what they're having on the learning team to have on their side. So the affiliation manager, who is typically coming from the partner organization where the learners are also coming from. So he can now make a request in the system that please, we have a new guy who needs to have access to the extended enterprise learning. So this is a simple way to do that. And because it's a business process, you can of course add also there some approvals or notifications. So if you want that, for example, the learning admin will approve that, or just be notified that actually there's a new extended enterprise learners to be added. Few pictures there that how it looks like, the basic information. So email address, username, and those one. And even they can even ask them to be created as inactive also, or make an activation date that when should they be active. For example, if they know that these guys will start working beginning of next month, they can ask them to be activated only from the beginning of next month. So really taking away the pressure from your learning team. Yep. And there is something that some security groups that need to be done, and of course some business processes that we need to be updated. And a brief summary of what is included. But then another extended enterprise learner related item here. So transcript transition for extended enterprise learner. So basically what it is that now Workday enables the extended enterprise learners when they can apply for internal positions through their existing Workday account. So here we have a strong touch points with recruiting. So please check this configuration and discuss this with your recruiting specialist also before doing anything. So now the guys who were earlier on, they were extended enterprise learners, they can apply for jobs. For example, here you see a picture. The learner, the extended enterprise learner can use this find jobs task to find interesting internal jobs. And in this case, she has applied for it. And because we have now this new process in place, the learning transcript will follow her when she becomes an active worker. So earlier on, there was no automatic procedure for this, and the learning transcript had to be manually adjusted. That okay, she had actually already completed, for example, some compliance trainings that we require while she was an extended learner. But now when she is joining as a normal worker, we can see that she had already completed the courses here. Some configuration setup. So please again remember to check with your recruiting specialist, because you see here we are touching we are, for example, touching the job application business process, which falls under the recruiting, and some domain changes and also. But remember, check with your recruiting specialist. And a brief summary of it, and what happens if you do nothing. Then the extended enterprise learners won't be able to apply for internal positions, and their learning transcript will not be transitions. Malay, did we have questions, or I would have still a couple of slides. How are we with time-wise?
Time-wise, we are going to exceed the clock, but we do have one question. I think you can answer that. So the question is, we don't use recruiting. If extended enterprise learner is transferred to employee, will transcript be transferred?
No. This requires you have to use this needs very good question. This needs recruiting. Yeah. So here actually Workday has stated here that you must have access to Workday recruiting to use this feature. So yeah, very good question. All right, let me quickly jump. I have a couple of more slides here. Learning translations. So there are very interesting for us Nordic customers and Baltic customers. Learning is supporting now also Estonian and Latvian translations. So there is altogether 37 languages now that Workday Learning has as a standard. So the standard fields should be now translated in Estonian and Latvian if you have employees who wish to use it. And just a couple of more of these Cloud Connect for learning. So here regarding the LinkedIn Learning and Udemy Business, now there's earlier on when the learners completed their content, they could have the link from Workday to the LinkedIn Learning, and they would need to click the complete button there in the LinkedIn Learning, and that would only then come back to the Workday that it's now completed. Now it's also actually automatically, so it's automatically tracking that if they really complete the learning on, for example, in the LinkedIn Learning, then that is now interfaced back to the Workday as well. So the course will be marked as completed. Please check this with your security admin, and integration specialist. This is more like a touching of the integration area, but just to highlight here that this Cloud Connect for Learning is a new initiative that is now making new features to the learning related integration. And now first one is the tracking completion. So really we get the real-time completion tracking now for the system. And same thing happens to the skills of Percipio as well. Right, then these are quite minor things. You can maybe have a look them also in the material. So slider rename that you already saw, and then the SCORM engine will be upgraded to Rustici engine. So that will give you some more stable background there. Workday said they have tested their test set of the SCORM packages just to make sure that your SCORM packages are also running well. So Workday has their own extensive set of test SCORM packages just to make sure that everything should be running as has been before. But maybe a good idea just to check a couple of your own packages as well. And there is then a possibility also to restrict access to the learning media if you have some sensitive information that you want your workers not to access outside your firewall. So that might be interesting also if you have sensitive material. So please have a look also in the community for those ones. Any questions, Malay, or should I jump to the roadmap? Sorry about the time. I think we are a little bit over time.
Yes, we are over time, and no, we don't have any questions as of now.
Okay, good, yeah. And here, just briefly, the learning roadmap. So you see the future. There is some learner experience, further enhancements coming at least to the program usability, how the learners are interact with each other, some enrollment enhancements. We have no details yet what they will be, but here they are listed. And very interesting here is the Google Calendar. Very many of us are waiting for the Google Calendar. So it is there in the future roadmap, but no date defined yet. And there's some admin related maybe changes also here. The SCORM, as I mentioned here, will continue. The SCORM configuration enhancements will be further developed now with the new Rustici engine there in the background. So the engine should provide more stable and more faster playback for you and more reliable. But yeah. All right. That's it. Over to you, Malay.
Thank you, Sami, for the wonderful presentation.
Yeah, and sorry about the time, but there was quite many interesting changes here, so I wanted to highlight those one out. And please, guys, have a look. Definitely in the community, you find more information and details of these. So before you go, so here is the feedback also. And I guess if we have any more questions that we didn't have time to answer, we will then come back to those with the email. Isn't that so, Malay? We will come back.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. That's all from me.